Hi everyone, and welcome to another one of my interviews. Today, I'm very excited to have Irina Geller with me, who is a food and mood coach, and she's also an author in the health and weight loss industry, who helps busy women to put down their fork and pick up their lives. She coaches women to eat well consistently, lose weight effortlessly, potentially add years to their life, and live those years to the fullest, looking amazing and feeling confident. After many struggles herself with emotional eating and trying every method, every therapy, and reading every book on the topic, nothing worked for her until she discovered a life-altering truth, the key to sustainable change through the mind. In changing her life, she hopes to change others by uplifting and inspiring them to accept themselves and strive to achieve their dreams. Amazing. Irina, welcome to my podcast.
Hello. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear
Lovely
a
to
bit
see you.
more. Yes, I'd love to hear a bit more about your story and how you got into this, because that's very interesting about your own
Hmm.
struggles. So tell me a bit about that,
Yeah.
Irina.
Okay. Well, my struggle started at the age of 11 when we migrated here from Ukraine. And I was left with I was left to look after my 1-year-old brother when my parents went off to work, and I didn't speak a word of English. And obviously a newcomer to the country, I felt very anxious, and I started to use food to deal with my anxiety. Of course, at the time, being so young, I didn't realize what I was doing. And that continued for many years and manifested into eating disorders. I had anorexia, bulimia, started off with binge eating disorder. And I was always looking for a solution. Obviously, I gained weight, I lost weight. At my heaviest, I was 150 kilos. At my lightest, I
Wow.
was 42 kilos. So really, a big
There you
variation
go.
between, but yeah, thinking if I lose weight, I'll be really happy,
Yeah.
right? But what I didn't realize is that I needed to start off working on my mind and actually on my confidence, so that, if I was more confident, then perhaps I could stick to that diet. And I think that that's a mistake that a lot of women make. They jump on the latest plan, the latest diet, and what they don't realize is that it all starts up here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not going to give you my full story because I'd be here for hours, right? But the change for me happened when I did start working on the mind, and I started working with coaches, with psychologists, with nutritionists, and really that's when the change began for me. And that's when I changed my careers from being in the fashion industry for 25 years to
Wow.
the health and wellness industry. And what I realized, I first became a PT, was the glue was the coaching, like actually helping people, empowering them to believe in themselves and believe in their ability to change.
Yeah. And
So
as an
that's
NLP,
it in a nutshell.
And as an NLP coach myself,
Mm,
I understand the power of the mindset. So tell me how that relates to
mm.
food and eating. Like, what are your tips, and what would you suggest to, people there who have the bulimia and yo-yoing diets and, any other food disorders and emotional eating? What would be your sort of top
Mm,
mindset uh, tips, basically, to help them on their path to,
mm.
looking after what they're eating, and also, as a coach?
Yeah. Well, firstly, if anyone out there does have an eating disorder, I suggest that they see someone who specializes in
Yeah.
that area, because it's a mental disorder.
Mm.
And I know that very well, because when you're caught in the midst of that, you actually see the world from a totally different perspective.
Mm.
So the way that someone sees the world and the way that someone sees nutrition when they have anorexia is very different to someone who's in a healthy state of mind, if
Yeah.
I may put it that way. As far as giving people tips, I think it really depends on the individual situation. It depends, because we're all unique. It depends on your lifestyle. So, the best tip I guess I could give is to actually work on your self-confidence,
Mm.
because when you believe in your ability to succeed,
Yeah.
it's like the old saying goes, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're probably right.
That goes
Uh,
across all areas, isn't it? It's not
yeah,
just
it
food and
does.
eating.
Yeah.
It's the whole,
It's
life in
it's
general.
the whole, you're right, yeah. And because the thing is, when you feel good about yourself and you feel confident, you wake up in the morning, you believe in your ability to succeed. People talk about motivation. What is motivation?
Mm.
People say to me, how do I get more motivated?
Yeah.
And, you get more motivated by actually taking small action.
Yeah.
and feeling good about it, because that builds up your confidence.
Yes.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I
amazing.
hope I answered your question.
Yeah. So give us a few tips on nutrition and what could, what do you teach clients and what are some of the basic
Mm,
tips on just getting on the right track to just even some basics on nutrition?
sure, sure. Okay, well, the best place to start is to clean up your pantry,
Yeah.
right? Clean up your environment, because
Yes, that's
our
right.
environment has got such a big impact on us. Like
Yeah.
when we see things, even when we're not hungry, we may go there,
Mm,
right? So if your plan is to get healthy, clean up your
that's
environment.
right.
Get rid of all the, I'm going to call it garbage. It doesn't mean that it's all
Junk,
garbage, but
the
if,
junk.
right? But get rid of the foods that are processed.
Yeah.
Eat more fresh, buy fresh,
Eat things that don't have a
right?
label, right? Like almonds don't have a label, or
Exactly.
avocado, or
That's
chicken
right.
breast, right?
Yes, yes. Or fish, buy fresh, eat fresh. And the other tip would be prepare your food. Have set days when you do preparation,
Yeah.
right?
We're all so
And prepare,
busy.
make sure, exactly. We are also busy, so bulk cook. That's
Yes.
what I do.
Yes.
What I have for lunch is what I had for dinner the
Yes,
night before,
that's right. Yeah.
right? And it's economical and it's
Yes.
also practical. I don't
Yes,
have to think
that's
about
right.
what I'm going to eat
So you cook
because
like
it's
3
already
times a
there.
week. Yeah, that's what I do as well. You can't
Yeah,
cook every
exactly.
single
Yeah.
meal. We'll have enough for my
No.
husband's lunch and then a dinner again the next day. So we'll cook and we'll have 3 meals out of it. Because yeah, you can't
Yeah,
afford to cook
exactly.
every single meal. Or if you do, it ends up
No,
being
no
like
one's got the
something
time.
quick, like a sandwich or a fruit
Mm.
or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, you
And,
need,
takeout is okay. If
yeah.
you up and you buy a barbecue chook, there's
Yes.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
we
They
do
didn't,
that. Yeah.
that's not processed.
No,
They
that's
picked
right.
up a
Organic.
fresh chook and they cooked it, right?
That's right.
But
Organic
you don't need to
chicken.
buy the chips.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
The
You don't
chips
need to buy
and
the
the
chips. You
Coke
don't
that
need to
comes with
buy,
it.
yeah,
So just go to Red
that's it
Rooster, but
exactly.
just
Yeah.
just get the chicken and none other sides.
Probably better not to go to Red Rooster, Ellie,
Well, that's
because
true, but
there's too much temptation.
I'm saying if
Yeah.
you did, it's
If,
just the Red Rooster and none of the sides. Of course, it's
exactly.
not.
Yeah.
It's
And
not first option, but you can go and get a beautiful organic chicken that's been roasted
totally,
and just have that. Yeah,
totally.
just have that with a bit of
And a
side of
fresh
salad.
salad.
That's what
You
I do.
know,
Yeah.
Ellie, there are so many, if you go to Coles now, all you have to do is shove them in the oven and
Mm,
cook them,
yeah.
right?
Can't
15,
even
20
say there's
minutes
no
and it's
time to
done.
chop up your
The salad,
vegetables. It's been done.
exactly. It's been done. Like
Yeah.
one of my favorites is kale slaw from Coles. It's
Yes, yes,
amazing. It's
yeah.
got so many different veggies in it and it tastes delicious.
So when
So
people,
it's just about, sorry, it's just about being organized, organizing yourself
yeah, that's what I
to
was
do
saying.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, because people complain, I'm sure you've heard it, like this, I have no time to cook. But I said
Yeah.
making a meal is actually not that hard. You can get a piece of salmon, right? Or you could buy, like you
It's
said,
quicker than
already
just going
done
and
chicken.
buying it.
Yes, if you by the time you go
Mm,
and drive, go and get takeout, come back, you've already cooked your salmon. You put a bit of salt, salmon on the pan for 5
totally.
minutes, and you could do like even a bunch of
Totally.
broccolini, and your meal is done in
Yes,
10
it's
minutes or less.
done. Yeah. So
So
planning is
yeah.
really, really important. Having, setting aside one day a week where you plan all your meals.
Yeah.
Once you planned your meals, you do your shopping list from that,
Yeah.
and off you go.
Yeah.
I think people just have a fear of starting,
Mm.
and perhaps there's a fear if they weren't successful
Can't cook.
previously, they might, but you really don't need to be an expert in
Oh, I
cooking.
said, look, there's so many YouTube videos out there. You could do
Mm,
heaps of YouTube videos on just like,
mm,
you can cook with like, I've seen some Jamie Oliver books, which is like 5
mm.
ingredients or less. You don't have to go crazy with
Yeah.
everything. It's just
No.
simple cooking. At least you're cooking
Simple.
from the heart and you learn and you can elaborate. Like as long as you're adding salt and pepper to
Yeah.
anything, it all tastes pretty good.
Exactly. And you know what, Ellie? You're in control of what you're eating
Exactly.
because you're making it yourself,
And there's
right?
love, right? Like you said, it's the
There's
time and
love.
the love,
Yeah.
and you know exactly what's going in. Like people buy cakes, and until I had
Mm,
children, I wasn't like, I
mm,
love baking, but now that you have kids, you're
mm.
more mindful of what you're putting in there,
Totally.
and you're trying to
Yeah.
substitute out the white sugar for
Mm.
something more healthy. You're cutting down the
Yeah.
fat, you're finding alternatives. And when you cook
Mm.
yourself, you know exactly what's going in there, and nothing is
Totally.
processed, and it's all fresh.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it is so important to include
Yeah.
all of that.
And you're being a good role model to your children, because when they see you in the kitchen
Yeah.
cooking, what do you think they're going to do?
Oh, they love cooking with me.
They
Yeah.
love it, you
Yeah.
know, so it becomes a family affair, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
It's another good way to spend time with them.
So what do you think of when people say that it's all hereditary, you know, the obesity, the high blood pressure, the cholesterol? Oh, it's my family's got it. So, you know, I'm gonna have it.
Look, it's a really interesting topic because you know, genetics are strong.
Yeah.
But I believe it's only, not I believe, I know I've done my research, it's probably around maybe 30 to 50%. But they've done experiments where two twins with the same genetics have been raised in two different places.
Yes.
And one could be obese, the other one could be slim.
Yeah.
So is what really determines your results. Of course, it's more difficult maybe for someone that is genetically predisposed to being obese. You know, their battle might be, not, I don't want to call it battle, but their journey might be a little more. Yeah. But again, it's eating for your body type. You know, if you're an ectomorph, you can process carbs really well. But if you're a mesomorph or an endomorph, you've got to eat more protein. So eating for your body type.
So just elaborate a little bit on that, because people may not have heard those two terms before.
Sure. Well, the program that I run, which is called Downsize Me, what we do is we actually determine people's body types, but we don't just do it by looking at them.
Yes.
We look at a lot of different things, and we go through a special process. Once we determine their body type, we actually give them a mock-up plan or blueprint, you could call it, to eat for their body type. So as I mentioned, there's three body types: ectomorph, endomorph, and mesomorph. But we don't call them those because they're kind of the generic names. But say, for example, ectomorph can definitely have more fruit in their diet. They may be able to have 3 or 4 pieces of fruit a day, where someone who's an endomorph might only do well with 1 piece of fruit. Right? Yes. And they can actually have more fat and more protein. So, and what we do is we show them what their plate looks like. And when people see it visually, it's really helpful.
Yes.
Okay. So it's not about deprivation and about feeling guilty. You can't have this, you can't have that. It's having the mindset that I choose to eat what suits my body.
That's so important. Like, it's so based on constitution. Chinese medicine is the same, holistic health. You know, no one person is the same. When someone comes in, they have different needs. They're at different ages. They have different body types.
Totally.
You know, so much of the spectrum, you know, I was just listening to a podcast back in the days, you know, in the 1970s and 80s, they introduced the food pyramid. And they said, you know, everyone, and that was just done because of the Heart Foundation.
That's like the worst thing they could have done.
And everything has completely changed since then, you know, because you're not supposed to eat, you know, 3 servings of grains and carbs a day, you know, so, and that doesn't suit every body type, every age group. There is so much more individualized medicine based on your body type and your health to really get the best out of eating for yourself and for optimal health.
I think you really hit the nail on the head when you said age, because our bodies change as we age. We have different needs. We have different lifestyles.
You can't compare a 25-year-old with a 55-year-old who's gone through menopause. Is that right?
Not. Exactly. Totally. And you and I know that really well, right? And that's the thing about you and I and about other, I guess, health professionals who recognize that, and they treat people as individuals, not as a mass, you know, like, well, it's one size fits all, because it ain't one size fits all.
Or even just a general
people
diet.
have to, people
people all go, let's go on a ketogenic diet, or they will go on intermittent fasting. It doesn't suit everyone, and it doesn't suit all body types or all ages, or even how much exercise you do, right? That would come into account.
Totally. I was just about to mention that.
So let's elaborate on that. You know, even the food and the amounts and quantity based on exercise. What's your opinion on that?
Totally. Well, if you're lifting weights, right, and you're a male who's building muscle, and you're 20 years old, you're going to need a hell of a lot of calories.
Yes.
Right? Because the thing is, if you don't eat those calories, you're going to starve, and chances are you're going to binge. Right? Because when people are starving, that's state of mind, you know, the famine, like basically they just attack anything that they can. So listening to your body and being able to identify physical hunger from emotional hunger is also important aspect, isn't it?
Yeah. And people
Right?
have to tap into
Because
that.
when
I
you're
think,
eating emotionally, you're
yeah,
totally,
they have to realize the
totally,
difference. They
yeah,
have to really think, okay, am I physically hungry because
yeah.
I just exercised 2 hours ago and I need to, yeah, to
Mm,
eat food, or have I've just been emotionally eating, or yeah, eating big portions of sugar because they're trying to
mm.
satisfy perhaps a need, or,
A need,
fulfillment of some
yeah, an
sort.
emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing, I guess, is it's really tuning in to your gut.
Yes.
What is your gut telling you? Because
Yes.
our gut is very smart,
Well, it's a gut-brain
right?
connection, right? Like
Exactly,
they're
that's
saying.
right. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Mm.
So I think what's really important is to slow down,
Yeah.
to slow right down and to be mindful about your choices, not just everything on the run, because
Yeah.
that's the thing these days. We're on the run a lot, and it's so easy to just get into that automatic, you know, eat on the run and do this and not even remember
Mm.
what you did that day. Isn't
Yeah.
that terrible?
Or they skip
Like when you
breakfast, they're
look at it
rushing
from
to
that
work.
perspective, you drive somewhere.
Yeah. I think,
Yeah,
well, last year
yeah,
might have been
yeah.
a
It's
good,
all a perception.
yeah, yeah. And I think for some people,
Wake
last year was a
up.
good slowdown because they could actually work from home and they maybe had the time
Yeah.
to eat the meals. Whereas in the past, if
Yes.
you were off to work, I'd have clients say, "Oh, I didn't have time for breakfast because they were literally rushing off to work and they would just grab something
Mm,
on the way." Whereas working from home may have had some advantages for people that were
mm.
able to have that time to maybe have a lunch or
Sure.
a dinner, because people come
Mm,
down starving and their biggest meal of the day was dinner. So what do you
mm,
think of the food portions and, having like a big breakfast, big lunch, or big dinner, or
mm,
small breakfast, lunch,
mm.
and dinner? What is your take? Or is it
Okay,
again based on constitution? What have you learned?
sure. So first thing I wanted to say, or I people say they have no time. That's their perception.
Yeah,
We all have the same hours in the day,
it's true.
right? So if breakfast is really important to you, you will make the time to prepare the breakfast the
Yeah,
night before.
yeah,
And even if it means you've got to eat it in a starter, doesn't take that long to bake, right?
no.
Or to, whatever else you want to make. My
Yeah, make
opinion
it the night
is that,
before. Yeah,
again, it's based on your, exactly. Um, as far as portions are concerned, I would encourage people to eat a really good breakfast, a
yeah,
substantial breakfast, a substantial lunch, and a smaller dinner,
yes,
right? But the thing is, what people tend to do is they tend to do it the other way around. They
yeah,
have no breakfast,
yes,
they have a light lunch because they're too busy or
yeah,
they believe they're too busy, and then they have a huge dinner and they keep
yeah,
snacking until
yeah,
they go to bed,
yeah.
right? And there's you add in the alcohol, the bottle of wine that some people are having a night.
Oh yeah,
The
yes, that's
Australian
right.
drink standards are just so out of whack with the rest of
Yes,
the world. I
yes. I think
mean,
3 to 4 glasses of wine
I
is normal. 3 to 4 glasses of wine with dinner. It's
yeah,
crazy.
I mean,
It's a
is
lot.
that normal? Like,
No.
you know what I'm saying? Again, it depends on the way you metabolize alcohol. Like
Yes.
I know as a woman, I can't metabolize alcohol the way my
And some
husband
cultures
does,
as well.
like,
The Chinese culture,
of course,
some of them,
mm,
don't metabolize alcohol very well either. So you've
at
got to look at
all.
all these factors
Yeah,
and think, oh, I'm just going to have alcohol, but they haven't looked
yeah,
at the individual constitution, like we said, the individual
yeah,
bodies and body types and what they can take in.
yeah.
Same with food sensitivities.
And
Yeah.
how it makes them feel the next day. If
Yeah.
you feel crap the next day, don't drink the night before. But look, having said that, it's very easy to say that. If someone is dependent on alcohol, it becomes a totally different ballgame, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like then we're looking at
Addiction.
addiction and
Yes.
we're looking at using alcohol to deal with certain emotions.
Yes.
So I'm not going to get into that
Mm.
unless you want me to. But I think really in a nutshell, it's being aware of your own needs,
Yeah.
your own individual needs for your life, for your lifestyle, and for where you are currently. And just being mindful about your choices, slowing
And
down.
yeah, and I think it's really important what you said to just test things out, because some
Yeah,
people don't realize, okay, let's do elimination diet, and let's maybe, okay, if
yeah,
you're having that that glass of wine or two every night, it may not be an
mm,
addiction, you're just like winding down, but you're feeling groggy, you're not sleeping well, you're waking up in the middle of the
exactly.
night from sweats. Maybe give that up for 2 weeks and see, does that make a
Yeah,
difference? Or if you're eating a
exactly.
lot of carbohydrates at night and you're going to sleep
Mm,
exhausted and still waking up exhausted, maybe try different things, or try eliminating it and see if it makes a difference for 2 to 4
Yeah,
weeks.
yeah. And talk to someone who actually
Yes.
understands all that stuff.
Yes.
You know, like you don't have to do it alone. You don't
No.
have to keep testing and feeling like you failed. Talk to someone
Yeah.
that can actually help you and make you feel empowered and make you feel good about yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we shouldn't be having those digestive issues. You shouldn't be waking up
No.
tired and bloated and foggy and, fatigued. And if any of
We're
that is
not
happening,
born with those issues, are we?
no, we're
No.
not.
So
Exactly. It's
no.
all, and it goes
It's all
back to
lifestyle.
you are what you eat at the end of the day. And some people don't realize that
My
food
favorite
is
saying.
medicine. Well, food is
Yeah.
medicine. And, you can go to GP. A lot of the times they go to GPs or specialists and they don't even cover food. But food can change your mood. So let's talk about a bit about that.
Totally.
How much food can
Exactly.
affect what you're eating can affect your mood. Because I love this topic.
Totally. Yeah. And that's why I actually call myself food and mood
Amazing.
coach.
I love that
Because,
name. Yes.
yeah, I know that food, 95% of serotonin is made in the gut.
Yes.
That's already telling you
Proven.
pretty
Yes.
much everything,
That's
right?
right.
So food can either be the best medicine or it can be the worst poison
Yeah.
for an individual. It just depends on what you're choosing to eat. If you eat a lot of sugar,
Yeah.
chances are you're going to have highs and lows.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
When you're having that low, what's going to happen? Chances are you're going to crave something sweet again, which means you get into that cycle of addiction. It becomes a vicious cycle.
And sugar
And
itself,
people get frustrated with
yeah,
themselves.
sugar itself is not good. We have way too much sugar in our diet. So much hidden sugar.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. A lot of hidden sugar, like tomato sauce. A lot of
yeah.
people are not even aware that tomato sauce has so much sugar.
Yes.
So, it's really eating stuff that is natural. Like if you feel like something sweet, have a piece of fruit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People have forgotten how to eat
Yeah.
fruit and vegetables.
Yeah. And they say, if you cut down on
Like,
but if you cut down on the
yeah,
processed sugar, right, and then you go back to eating fruit, you're going to realize how sweet it is. Like when I used to have milk chocolate 15, 20 years ago,
yes,
you didn't think it was sweet. And then as soon as you cut that out and you switch to dark chocolate, now if I go back to milk chocolate, which is very rare, it's so sickly sweet. You're like, wow,
it
how
is.
do people keep eating this? Because your
Yeah,
taste buds, you need to let your taste buds
totally.
have that time to
Adjust.
readjust, right? And that could take weeks or
Yes.
months for it to start. And once you start
Yes.
substituting, when you then have fruit, you have a blueberry, like, wow, this blueberry is so sweet, because your taste bud is not used to the processed white sugar that is basically in a lot of processed foods.
Yeah. But fruits and vegetables are little powerhouses of vitamins, nutrients,
That's right.
nutrients, like they're just, and it's just, they're whole, like they're not cut up and processed and bashed and, like, and thrown around, like whatever
It's
happens
just
to.
what you see is what you get. It comes straight from the farm.
Exactly.
Hopefully, it hasn't been too many. There's no processing when you eat a whole fruit. So, and it's natural. It's got so much phytochemicals.
It grows. Yeah.
It's life.
Yeah,
right?
totally. And you feel good. You feel clean. You're able to focus. Your mind is not foggy.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the difference between eating well, right, and eating a processed diet. And the thing is, sure, when you're young, you could probably get away with eating a processed diet for a little while. It may not affect you that much, but after a while, you're going to feel it.
Well, you're a lot more active as a child as well. Your metabolism's faster, but for women, definitely, sort of after children and especially after menopause, your body is not the same. You can't compare a 50-year-old body to a 21-year-old body.
No. But the thing is, you can actually feel really good as a 50-year-old. I'm 50.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And
when you can get people feeling crap as a 30-year-old, and you can get people that feel amazing at 60. My mom is almost 70 and she feels the best she's ever felt.
There you go. And so what is she eating? Tell me, Ellie, what does she eat?
Oh, she cooks everything. Mum is the most amazing cook. She was brought up in Thailand, so all the food is very fresh. And we go to a place every Sunday to have dinner with the kids, but she's always been an amazing cook. She'll cook Vietnamese, Chinese, variety, but everything is cooked. She doesn't eat any processed food. The only bit of sugar she has is a tiny bit of raw sugar in her coffee in the morning, and that's it. She doesn't have a sweet tooth. She'll eat fruit, a couple of fruits a day, and everything is cooked. Lunch is like the leftover dinner. So when I work with her, it's all leftover dinners.
Isn't that the best invention?
Yeah, and she might eat out once or twice a week, but she eats well. Like they'll go to a Chinese food, ask for less salt, less oil. So you can choose to eat well, and it's still cooked. You can go and to a restaurant and still eat well. You just have
Yes.
to choose. It's not the Caucasian diet where it's fish and chips or something like that. You know, Chinese food
Mm.
is a lot more healthy. There's a variety. There's always protein,
Yeah,
vegetables, you know,
of
whole
course.
variety.
Lots of
Whereas
vegetables.
yes, whereas
Yeah,
everything is deep fried. If you go to eat, you know, burger and chips, it's not burger and
of
chips. It's
course.
well cooked,
Yeah.
you know, meats and vegetables, you know.
Mm.
So yeah,
Mm.
so she's feeling amazing. Never her health has been wonderful. And my grandmother said, look, genetics are good, but it's not just that. It's also what you've been eating
It's
brought up.
lifestyle.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So, you know, she hardly has any processed sugar. Like she has never, I don't think she's ever
Mm.
had a muesli bar in her life. But yeah,
Mm.
everything is just always cooked.
Mm.
And that's it.
Mm.
That's a secret, you know, eating your
Fantastic.
own home
Yeah,
cooked
it is.
meal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she learned to cook when she was very young. She has a love for cooking, but it's not hard to learn a
Mm.
simple
Mm.
basic, you
No.
know, stir fry on the grill, you turn on the grill and literally steam
Yeah,
some veggies.
totally.
It's just basic. And I
Mm.
think you need to learn it for optimal health, right? We all need to learn some basic
You
cooking
totally
skills.
do. Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like making eggs,
Yes.
right? You learned how to make eggs. So if you learn how to make eggs, I'm sure that you can learn how to bake a piece of salmon.
Yeah.
You wash it, put
Yes.
some, tamari sauce on it,
Yeah.
shove it in the oven,
Yeah. And with
15 minutes,
YouTube
out
and
it comes.
videos and endless
Yeah,
cooking videos, there is no excuse
totally.
when people say,
Yeah,
oh, I don't know
totally.
how to cook. Watch a video, you know,
Totally.
you've got to do it for
Yeah,
your own health.
exactly.
If you don't take
Yeah.
control, like, you know, like you said, let's talk about control for a little bit. If you
Life
don't
will
take control.
take control of
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. And you're
yeah,
putting your control in other people's hands. You're just going to buy
totally.
something that someone else has prepared.
Mm,
And usually takeaway food is full of salt. Like I bought, you know,
yeah, so
my
salty.
takeout of burgers and they put
Mm,
so much sauce on
I
there.
know.
There's so much
Mm.
flavoring. The meat is not great. You know, they're not using grass-fed organic
No, of
beef.
course
It's
not.
just cheap
No.
grain-fed patty,
Yeah,
cheapest thing they can
yeah,
get. No one's going to give you good organic stuff unless you spend the money. But yeah, it's much
yeah.
easier to definitely
Unless you go to a restaurant and you order that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
For
even a
sure. I
burger.
agree.
You could easily make your own burgers, homemade burgers at
Mm,
home, you know? Yeah.
Grass-fed beef
Yes.
made into a burger tastes so delicious
Oh, and
when
it
it's
doesn't
made
take
at
long. You
home.
can get already pre-made
Yeah,
patties from Coles or Woolies. That's
totally.
grass-fed organic. Chuck it
Yes,
on the pan,
I
get some
know.
lettuce and, you know, get some
Yes,
sourdough bread or some nice
yes.
bread and your
Mm,
dinner's done. And maybe
I
some sweet
know.
potatoes on the side.
Yeah.
It's not
And
that
you've got
hard.
lunch for the next day.
Exactly. So it's not hard to make, you
What's
know,
not to
our own
love?
meal. No.
Yeah.
So I think once
Mm,
people learn the importance of just really simple cooking and they know what's going
mm,
in and they know how much they need to put in, you know, I think
mm.
they get back so much more because, you know, at the end of the day, you want to be healthy. You don't want to be the
Yeah.
last 20 decades or the last 2 decades being sick or having some sort of chronic illness. Is that right?
And the amount of money that costs you is
Cheaper than much
way
cheaper
more
to eat better
expensive.
at the
Yeah.
beginning,
Yeah.
right? For your journey of
Yeah.
health and to be going after
Totally.
specialists
And you
because
feel better.
yeah,
You feel better, like if we get back to the food and mood, I mean, you
yes,
just feel so much better. And you feel
mm,
proud of yourself because you're looking after yourself.
yes.
You're being a good role model to your children. It's what's not to love?
And so, yeah, we go back to saying, you know, those kids have grown up, you know, because their parents have been sick or they've had chronic illnesses because, you know, at the end of the day, it's not the genetics, but you're eating from the same table.
Yeah.
You're eating from the same fridge. And if your mother eats like that, chances are you're going to eat like that. My
Yes.
mother, my grandmother were
Yes.
amazing. You know, they ate everything really
Mm.
well, you know, all home cooked. And so you learn
Mm.
to sort of appreciate
So
that. You
you
don't
do
get
too.
takeaway.
Yeah.
You don't get
Yeah.
takeaways often. But if you've got a family that's constantly eating
Exactly.
out, getting pizzas and fast food, you've
Mm.
grown up with that. So it's harder to sort of change those habits unless you make that conscious change.
Yeah. That's what you're going to pick up. Exactly. Yeah. We're
Oh,
definitely on the same page there, girl.
yes, Irina, amazing. Now, what do you have to offer the people and how can they find out more about you?
Okay, so I've recently released a new book called
Amazing.
3 Steps to Consistent Healthy Eating and a
Yes.
Lasting Healthy Life. And I believe you're going to include a link
Yes.
for people to download the book. It's totally free. And what else is happening? People can get in touch with me and book a free 15-minute chat.
Mhm.
We can just chat about, like what their obstacles are or what
Yeah.
their challenges are, where they're at. and create maybe some sort of clarity
Yeah.
for where they can go forward, and also my website and
Great.
all my social media links.
All
Yeah.
right, amazing. I'll
Mm.
put your link to your book and your website there, Arena. And if anyone needs to contact you, they'll know where to
Thank
find you.
you.